Well, welcome back to the Wes Anderson edition of this
Hi,
week's
happy Wednesday. I'm
Wes
I'm currently making a pour over
Day.
coffee,
You literally
really
look,
leaning into the character.
yeah, you really look like, is it Steve Zissou or something? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
the vibe that you've got
it's
going on
mostly the
here.
red hat, but yeah, yeah,
No, it's the shirt and the jacket as well, to be fair.
yeah. I haven't done up a full collar in a while. This is like a callback to Sunday show. I wanted to see if I still have a fat neck.
Um, I have just referenced a movie I have, of course, never seen. Um,
It's so good. It's so good. People hate it.
honestly,
People
I've
hate it. I love it.
tried to watch Wes Anderson, and it's one of those things where I seem like the kind of person that would really go for Wes Anderson.
Nope.
Do you not think so?
Nope. Nope.
Okay, because some people have said this that
That's
they
because
think
they
I
don't know
would.
you that well.
Yeah, I can't. It's so pretentious.
It's pretentious and it's twee, which I don't
It's
think you
so
will have a
twee.
lot of
I
time
can't.
for.
No, I don't have
Yeah,
time for it. And
yeah.
it's just it's there's a few directors now where I look at their movies and I just go, only a cisgendered straight white man could make this. Do you
Well,
know what I
no,
mean?
there's a lot of cisgendered straight white ladies that are into it as well. You
No,
know,
I know, but you know what I
don't sell your
mean.
sisters short.
There's a severe lack of oppression, is what I mean. Do you know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, yeah, and it's all
They've
about
never known
the
hardship.
personal turmoil of rich people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's so pretentious, and twee is a good word for it as well. And I just can't do it. Can't stomach it.
yeah. I mean, I
Even
love it, but I'm cis, white, and pretentious, so I got it all.
you got it
Uh,
all. Yeah, I
I
can
got it
see you
all. Yeah,
liking it.
love it. I love it. I think that I mean I can't watch them all the time, but every
Mhm.
now and then, oh, exactly what I needed.
No. um, I No, I was going to say something and I'm not going to say it.
Oh, it's not fair. That's against the rules.
No, it's not so much that it's challenging in any way. It's just not as interesting as I thought it might be. Um,
Okay. No, that's permissible then. That's all right.
yeah. um,
Yeah.
yeah, Christopher Nolan is another one that I enjoy his Batman,
Yep.
but there's just quite a few of his other movies that I just can't get on board with.
Yeah, he's one
Uh,
where even I don't dig it.
yeah,
I'm just like, listen, technically you're very proficient, but I don't care. Like
yeah.
I just don't care. Like Inception is boring.
It's so
Um
dull. It's so dull. And people go on about it as if it's so revolutionary and intellectually and I'm like, no,
yeah.
it's really, really boring.
Yeah. No, the one if you want to watch something like that, watch Synecdoche, New York. It is harrowing and fucking weird, and I still don't understand it. And it's one of my favorite movies. And it's one of Philip Seymour Hoffman's last movies,
Right.
and he stars in it, and it's just like I don't know what it's about. It's just remarkable, and I left feeling fucking stupid, and it's amazing. It's yeah, that movie is what Inception thinks it is.
Cool. Yeah. Inception, I just think is one of the most overrated movies.
Yeah, I liked it when I first watched it. I was like, okay, cool. Like that was an interesting thing. And then I tried to watch it again recently, and I got 10 minutes in, and I was like, I just don't care about any of this.
No,
I
it's so uninteresting.
But I
Um,
also, and I've talked about this before, I don't really rate what's his face, the guy that played Bane and played the Cray brothers and Venom, Tom
Tom
Hardy.
Hardy.
Yeah, I don't really rate him. So he's like I think that might have been his breakout role. I think that might have been the one where people went, "Whoa, who's this guy?"
Yeah,
And I
I
was like,
think maybe
"I don't
it
care."
was. Yeah. I do like him in some. He can be a bit hit or miss, and to be honest, I kind of appreciate when somebody's a bit hit or miss because it means they're trying different things.
Yeah,
And I always find that quite admirable. If you're very good at something and you just do that, like fair enough, you know what you're good at and you enjoy being good at things, but I find it a lot more admirable when people kind of go out of their comfort zone and flop sometimes. I think you have to fail to get anywhere.
yeah. Have you
So I
seen
kind of, yeah,
Have you seen Phantom Thread?
no.
Paul Thomas Anderson. I think he made it with oh shit, what's his name? My Left Foot. Um,
Daniel
in the Name of the
Day-Lewis.
Father. There Will Be Blood.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I didn't hear you the first time. Yeah, Daniel Day-Lewis. Yeah, he's in. I think it's one of the last movies that he's made, or more recent movies that he's made, and I haven't watched it yet. But that feels like one where he's doing something else. It's about fashion.
Oh, yeah. I think I remember seeing this being advertised. I think, yeah, I remember seeing this and thinking that it looked interesting.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'll
yeah,
watch it
I
soon.
might put that onto my list soon, actually, if I can get it.
You know what I keep wanting to do though is just rewatching The Devil Wears Prada.
Totally fair. Cracking movie.
It's so good. It's so good.
So good.
It's so good.
It's excellent.
Meryl Streep's incredible in it.
Yep.
Stanley Tucci.
Stanley Tucci.
How can you not
He's
love him
so
in that
good.
movie? He's
He's
so
so
good in
good.
it.
Emily Blunt is so good in that movie.
Emily Blunt's excellent in it.
I think she's so underrated in that movie. I think she's really excellent in it.
Yeah, she did a really good job of the like very committed but also like desperate and afraid. And
desperate character. And yeah, I think one of those characters that you can easily sort of disregard as being a bit flimsy in the story, and it's like, no, that character is actually so important in the story.
Yeah, 100%.
And yeah, I just think it is such a good movie.
Yeah, and
It's
ultimate
right up there.
like one of the ultimate rewatchable movies, because I have movies that I love that I'll watch twice or once.
Yeah.
And you can't like that Synecdoche, New York that I mentioned. I can't watch that often.
No.
It's too much.
Yeah.
But like Devil Wears Prada is like great, and I can just anytime you put it on, I'm happy it's on. I'm very happy it's on.
Yeah, there are
Wonderful.
some movies that you can really, really revisit a lot. I really love Brett Goldstein's podcast where he talks about movies, and he kind of has a really great way of talking about movies. Like the questions, it's the same format questions every time. But yeah, he kind of says, what is your favorite movie? And what is the movie you rewatch the most? They're two separate categories.
They are two separate things.
Yeah. And he also has another category that is, what do you think is objectively the best movie of all time?
Yeah.
Objectively. So it's not your favorite movie, and it's not the one that you watch all the time. It is, what do you think is the greatest movie?
That's such a big distinction that people don't make.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to write a joke. I've been trying to write a joke about it for about a year now, about the difference between your favorite and the best. It's not the same.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
No.
My favorite movie is Tombstone. It's not the best movie I've ever seen.
I really love a lot of things that I can objectively say are terrible. But I love them. So yeah, the movie, I think the movie I have rewatched the most in my life is About Time.
Is what, sorry?
About Time.
I've never even heard of that. What is that?
It's a Richard Curtis movie. And it's Donald Gleason and Rachel McAdams, and he's able to travel back in time. It is such. I challenge you to watch it, because I actually think you would actually really like it. I think you would like it. It's such a lovely movie. It's so nice. My objectively greatest movie of all time, Legally Blonde.
Okay. I
I'll
would put
die
that
on that
in.
hill.
I would put that in rewatchable, of course. Of course. Fantastic. To say it's objectively the best movie of all time is the take of someone who's never seen any films, which, of course, is in keeping with your character. So fair enough.
I think it is such a good movie.
It is. It's
I think you
objectively.
can I think you can pick it apart and it holds up in almost every way. It is I think it's flawless.
I mean, I don't disagree with any of those things, but to say it's objectively the best movie of all time is an insane thing to say. Uh, it's absolutely wild. It's like people who say that like Taylor Swift is the best artist of her generation, and it's like, no, she's unbelievably talented. She makes very cool stuff, but shut up. Uh,
Speaking of wanting to tell people to shut up, you lived in a monastery?
yeah, I lived in a Buddhist monastery.
Let's get stuck the fuck in.
So I was 22, and a friend of mine I was 22. I was sort of a loose end. I'd just broken up with a long-term girlfriend. I'd sort of already achieved in bartending more than I thought I could achieve in anything. And I was but I was like kind of bored of it. I'd learned so much about it that I remember getting to the point where I was like, no one needs to know this. Like I was learning about specific strains of the agave plant and stuff, and I was like, we've gone too deep. We've gone too
Yeah.
deep. We don't need to know this.
Let's reel it in.
Yeah, it was, when I love knowing a lot about things, but I don't like being a wonk is kind of fucking annoying. And so
If John was here right now, he would just be telling you that you are a wonk.
I know a fair amount about a lot of things, but I can always sit with someone who really knows about it, and I know just enough to ask a good question. That's my level of that's how much I want to know about things, is just enough to ask an expert an interesting question. And then I'm happy. Then I can sort of put it away. Let's go. We're inside now. It's less formal. And
John
so
would
yeah,
have taken you off the screen.
You have the power. You have the power.
I do have the power, but I don't want to be on the screen by myself.
I will do my best not to abuse that. Yeah, so I was kind of at a loose end. I was in my hometown and bartending at this little restaurant, partying like a lot. And I was gonna go to university, and I was waiting for that to come through. And my friend Teresa, who I've known since I was like 14, and is in the top 3 of like the smartest people I know, which is saying something. I'm very lucky. And she is currently a human rights lawyer for the Canadian government. She does fantastic work to help people and always has. And at the time, she was doing regular work for a refugee camp for Burmese people in Thailand. And so while she was working at this camp, a monk from a nearby monastery who'd taken in a bunch of children refugees said, do you know anyone that might want to come and help us with the same kind of work that you're doing? And she immediately thought of me. And so she sent me a message and just said, hey, is this something that you'd be interested in? And it was exactly the kind of work that I thought I would do for the rest of my life at the time. It was, I was volunteering for like Amnesty International, and I was studying political science and all this stuff. And so I said, fuck yeah. And so I went out there. I brought my not girlfriend. We were kind of dating, and then we broke up. We agreed. I was like, do you want to come? Her name's Christina. She's awesome. And she was a waitress at the restaurant that I was working at. And then we broke up. She broke up with me, and we were like, which was fucking devastating. I was insane for her. Yeah, she was one of those, like, have you ever met someone where you're just like, God, I hope you choose me. Holy shit, you're awesome.
No.
Oh yeah, she was 100% that. I was crazy for her. And she was kind of like, about me, which hurt. We're still really good friends. Like, we get along insanely well. but there was just something about where I was at that she's like, I don't want to date this guy. I was like, fuck. So we, so she broke up with me, and then we talked about it. We still got along really well. And I was like, listen, you bought your ticket. I think we can do this anyways. Like, I think I can be cool. And so do you want to just come anyway? And she was like, yeah, fuck it. So we went out and we spent like 2.5, 3 months or something living in this Buddhist monastery that was also a refugee camp for Burmese kids. We had to pretend we were married. So it didn't feel good to lie to Buddhist monks.
No.
Um,
Oh dear.
but other than that, we were pretty truthful. And it was yeah, it was amazing. It was the kids were the sweetest kids I've ever met. They brought us out to teach them English and like a little bit of computer skills, because the whole thing was the Burmese army. I don't know if you know much about Myanmar or Burma, whatever you want to call it. Was a British territory run by a military junta now. Aung San Suu Kyi, you might have heard of her. She won the Nobel Peace Prize and then committed a genocide. It's a fucking crazy place. But there's like 5 ethnic clans: the Kachin, the Shan, the Chin, and 2 others that I can't remember right now. Where the government just goes, we're just gonna fucking kill these people. And so what they did was they went into the woods, killed all the adults, sent the kids out into the woods.
Oh my God.
And basically said, good luck. And these monks picked up these kids as they crossed the border, and were like, well, we can give them a home and we can give them an education, but like past that, I remember asking the head monk, I was like, so all these kids, they're all dressed like apprentice monks. And I was like, so all these kids are going to be monks? And the head monk, he was great because he didn't speak much English, but we found a way. I was learning Thai, and we found a way to sort of like get it across. And he was like, nah, they're not going to be monk. 2 of these kids will be monks. The rest of them, it's just like, they can't afford, the state won't take them. They can't afford the uniforms to go to schools. They can't afford the books. So we take them in because everything is just provided. And then they do work. It was also an organic farm. So they taught the kids how to farm. And so they take them in. Then we try to give them as many skills as possible, so that when they get out, they can like start a life. They don't have to join a gang. They don't have to do whatever. And so it was an amazing experience.
That sounds like a really incredible experience.
It was like, I remember, like, I've left a lot of places. Like, leaving is something I'm very good at. But I was weeping when I left this place. Like, it was so hard to leave. It was the first time that like I fully understood adoption.
Okay.
Where it was like, I could love any of these kids forever. Like, I just want to take care of them. They're the best. Even like the like badass kids, because like it was still school, and there's always like the mischief kids, were the best behaved kids. Their mischief was so silly and low key that like the bad boys would have been the best kids at my school. And yeah, it was just wonderful. At night, they would teach Christina and I Thai. They would give us lessons in like pronunciation and the tones and things like that, and etiquette. And one of them taught me Kung Fu. He was giving me Kung Fu lessons every night, which was great. He offered them to Christina because she didn't want to take them. And
that just sounds like one of those experiences you only see in a movie or read in a book or something.
Yeah.
I cannot believe you've never brought that up before.
I must have. I mean, we'll ask the Troggies, mentioned it in the Discord if I have, because I feel like I must have. It must have come up at some point. But
I feel like I'd have remembered it though. But we have said a lot of shit on this.
We've said a lot of shit. And it might have been on one like with just John or something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm just gonna take my jacket off because it's hot in here. Yeah, no, so I was there for a while and taking all these, teaching and learning how to teach, which was really fun. Like, it was cool to find like different ways to communicate, because the kids didn't speak English. Like, they spoke kind of what we taught them.
Yeah.
And one thing that was kind of worrying was there was a day where all these different schools got together and they had like a big event, and they wanted Christina and I to teach modules with it. And so we would get rotating groups. We got about 15 minutes with each group. And teach as much as you can through games and things like that. And then there was, there was competitions, and it was almost like a camp day with like some lessons involved as well. And I remember teachers from other schools coming up to us and being like, "You guys are really good at this. You're really like you're doing a great job. You found things that like will stick and keep it simple." And I was like, "I've never been trained in this, and I've never done this before. And so if I'm good at it, teachers are bad at it."
Yeah.
That was like really disheartening. But
Yeah.
but the yeah, the experience was incredible. Like we'd wake up at 5 a.m. every day. The kids there would be like a big sort of group meditation thing. They taught me how to meditate, which, is still really important to me to this day. Um, you'd eat a big breakfast, and then the kids would work on the farm for a bit, and I would exercise while they were doing that. And then I would practice kung fu. I'd practice the moves that I was taught. And then we would go to school. We'd teach the kids for a day. We'd have a big lunch, and then you wouldn't eat. I don't know if this is across all Buddhism, but it was the kind that they were doing at this monastery where after 2 p.m. no one eats.
Right.
Because food is for energy and night is for sleeping. They don't party, they don't drink, they don't have sex. There's nowhere to go. It was in the middle of fucking nowhere. Like we were just surrounded by fields forever. And I remember I had to like fight off a pack of wild dogs. I was walking to school one day, and there was this pack of dogs that would sort of like, they keep their distance for the first few days, and they were kind of eyeing me, and I was like, this is going to be a problem. And then one day they decided, right, get him. And I remember one of the dogs, I guess like the boldest dog, came up to try to attack me, and I had a hardcover book in my hand, and I took a swing at it. But at the last second, I don't know if it was like the Buddhism I'd been surrounded by, but I was like, don't hit this dog. So I stopped at the last second right before his nose. And then it was in the air coming at me. And I just stopped right there, and he fell to the ground, and they all just walked away. It was like a test.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because I didn't run. I didn't I didn't show any fear. I was just like, fine, we're fighting. And but after like just that one swing, and it's not like I missed, I chose to stop. And then they all just sort of stopped barking, and they all walked away, and they didn't bother me again for the rest of the time I was there.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's really, really something out of some sort of mythical folklore.
Yeah, it was really strange. I need like a dog psychologist or some sort of mystic to interpret that. But it was
but I mean, it's one of those things where in the mythology, it's not a dog.
Yeah, right.
It's the spirit of something sent to test you. And oh wow. Yeah, that's a real like it's one of the key stages of the hero's journey or something. Do you know about the hero's journey?
Yeah, of course.
Story narrative thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those moments.
Yeah. It was it stood out. And I remember on that same walk there would be I don't know if you call them like water buffalo, but those Asian buffalo with like the big like wide horns,
big horns
that come up and then sort of curl around this way. They would just be grazing on the side of the dirt path that I'd walk to get from where we lived to the school and things like that.
That's so idyllic. And God, it really, the past couple of years have been so intense and strange, and we all sort of got driven inside, where we've all gone slowly mad and just staring at screens all the time, and you're just hearing all this bad news on every platform that you get all the time. And then even just the fact that I've been out working the past couple of weeks, but a lot of what we've been doing has been outside. We've been up on an airfield and just getting battered and beaten up by the wind for 4 days.
Oof.
And it's one of those things. It's been physically quite draining and exhausting, but just touching grass, you just you sort of reconnect with the world in a different way. And then you get back into the car and you switch on the radio and you hear about the fact that some poor young black boy knocked on some racist's door and got
Yeah.
his face shot, and
Yeah.
you just want to turn all the noise off again
Yeah.
and just go sit in a field and look at some water buffalo. That's all I
Mhm.
want to do right now. I
It's
just
yeah.
I just love I've fully sort of trained my algorithm on Instagram to just show me videos of animals, because
Mhm.
it's all I want to interact with anymore is just
Yeah.
animals and the sea. And I don't care if it's pissing rain and windy. I will say I've been quite tired of getting hit with the wind all week, and
Mhm.
it's difficult, but it also just feels more like you're alive,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And
That was
it's just better.
yeah.
You're not thinking about how you're so anxious and stressed about that one little thing that you said to somebody once that you think sounded stupid,
Mm.
because you're getting beaten up by the wind.
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know? Oh my god, you lived in a monastery. Why did you leave?
I had to start university.
Of course.
McGill. I had to go to McGill, so I
Yeah.
moved to Montreal, and that's where I started doing stand up. I started doing stand up, I guess, like 6 months after that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm really having a moment with this story.
Talk me through it. That's very nice.
I mean, I've just talked you through it. It's just all of those thoughts. I've just sort of emotionally vomited all over you. Um, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm really like gone to a place after this.
Well, let me ground you for a second. So it was, I remember on the first day of the school. So in Thailand, um, I don't again. I just want to say for them because I don't know the country that well. I know that place very well, and so let's say in the part of culture that they were doing up there, it was very far north. Um, and it was about like if you look at a map of Thailand, I was an hour and a half north of Chiang Mai, which is sort of the northernmost major city. And so we get there, and on the first day, we sort of get acclimatized. We meet the head monk, we meet some of the kids, and then the next day we go into the school and we sort of start teaching, and they divide us up into classes and things. And I remember they lined up all the teachers for us to be introduced to them before the first day of school, and everybody there has a name and a nickname, and the
Okay.
name is very long and very difficult to remember because it's in a different language that has different sounds, and
Sure.
I don't have any anchor points for any of the names on this.
Yeah.
And so, but then they have a nickname which is always very short. And so that's what everyone called each other. It wasn't just for us, which felt good. There's that
Mhm.
worry that it's like, we'll do this for the white people, but it's like, it's what everyone called each other. And they will go through, and it was like, his nickname means like smart, his nickname means fast, whatever. And then they got to this one, they was like, this is Ajan Uwan. And I was like, what does Uwan mean? And they went, fat.
Oh wow. Oh.
And the monk just went, yeah, yeah. He's like, yeah. I'm fat teacher. Ajan means teacher, and Awan means fat. He's fat teacher. That's his name.
Did you get a name?
I did, but I can't remember it.
You can't
It's I
remember it.
I can't remember. I have it written down
Oh
somewhere,
no, that
and
you need to find
I
that.
can't because well, they never called me it really. Like they gave me
Okay.
one, but they called me Chris.
Okay.
Yeah, so it wasn't like it was stuck in my head. It was just like a nice sort of commemorative, you're part of us thing.
Sure.
Um, yeah, it was funny like when I left because I was in my early mid 20s. I was used to partying all the time, and I was like doing like well with women at the time, and this was a time when I spent months with a woman that I was in love with that just wasn't like we sort of like we made out one night and that was kind of it. Like we didn't know, like nothing happened, and we hung out a lot. We got along really well,
Uh-huh.
which was great. We also like fought a lot, but in that way that you're spending too much time with someone,
Sure.
but you still like care about them. And
Uh-huh.
so we're still like, it's nice. Like she's very important to me, and I know that I'm very important to her, which is like a nice thing to have left with.
Yeah.
But we went to, we finished our stint, and we wanted to have a couple days just to like party. We just had all this pent up energy. And so my friend Teresa and her now husband Dave, they finished at the same time. And so we all got together and we went down to an island and we went to not like the full moon side of the party, like a
Mhm.
little more, still like heavy, but a little more relaxed. And then when we left there, like we just got fucking drunk for like 3 days. And then
Straight back to reality.
we
not
just
not in a monastery anymore.
we had so much energy to get rid of. so
Sure.
so we did. And then I went to, they had other things to do. And I found this tiny little, on the same island, this little place that was like tucked away, hour and a half drive. Like on the drive, I was positive I was going to die. That's how like unmade these roads were.
Right.
And we were just in the back of a pickup truck. This was like the taxi. This was like the shuttle bus that took us there. Was this guy drove like a fucking maniac around corners that were just over cliffs, one lane roads, two-way traffic. And we got there and everyone just had these little huts and it was just on the ocean and it's one of the most peaceful places I've ever been in my life. And I remember talking to, they gave me this jacket, which I still have actually. I can show it to you. It's in my closet here. Where oh shit. I don't know, it's somewhere. I don't know where I put it. But it's like this
You can
blue,
find
it's a
it and stick a picture into the Discord.
yeah. I wonder where it was right there. I don't know, I'll put it somewhere. But yeah, so it's like this blue jacket with a big logo of the school on the back. So it's a bunch of Thai
Oh,
writing
cool.
and like Buddhist imagery and stuff. And I remember when I got off the truck and they were checking us in, the driver of the truck's like, "Where'd you get that jacket?" And I was like, "Oh, I was teaching at this school up north near Chiang Mai." He went, "Okay." And like I answered a little bit in Thai and a little bit in English and just went, "Okay, all right." And then like I was there for about a week, and after the second day, the staff were just like, "Hey, Buddha boy, come here." That's what they called me, and and I got to talking to them, and we got along really well. So they started taking me into the kitchen after they'd shut everything, and I would eat with them,
Oh, wow.
and so they would cook like the real food. And
Nice.
I remember like we were just a big pot of stuff and you grab some stuff and you dip it in the pot. And they all spoke Thai and I spoke a little bit and they spoke a little bit of English. And so we were just piecing stories together and laughing. And then they were like, "We're gonna get high. You want to smoke weed?" I was like, "Isn't that dangerous?" They're like, "Nah, you're good." And they gave me all their weed and we were just getting high. And then we went and played soccer on the beach. And then I remember like as I left, the staff members all came out and they were like, "Good luck, man. Like, it was really good to meet you. Like, Buddha boy, like, you're going to be okay." I was like, "Thanks, man." Like, I sort of came here like a little heartbroken and then was like face to face with a woman who broke my heart every day. And so this is very nice. And thank you. It was just, I left that whole trip feeling more myself than I think I've ever felt before or since.
Mm. Wow. Oh my days. I don't
It's the kind of Thailand trip people want to have in terms
yeah,
of grounding and real, and then they end up at full moon parties, and it's a very different thing. But yeah,
sure.
yeah, it was incredible.
That's I cannot believe we've never spoken about that before.
Mm,
Um, not to my memory anyway.
yeah, yeah,
That's incredible. I never really had one of those experiences. I think because during those years where most people do that sort of thing, I was just sick. That was my
yeah,
thing. I was just going through surgery and being totally brain fucked by medication. So I had a very different experience of those kind of early 20s years where you're meant to
mm,
go and not you're meant to, but like a lot of people do go and do something like that. But I feel like I will go and do something like that at some point. I'll just be a bit older doing it.
yeah.
Um,
And it's out there. They need people. So
something I would love to do is you see it's in the Maldives or something and you go out and you help the turtles. That's what I'd love to do.
Yeah,
I want to go help the turtles.
turtles are very helpable.
They're so cute.
Yeah,
um, yeah, I would quite like to help the turtles.
yeah,
It's a very expensive thing to go and do, though.
yeah. I would pick something. I mean, I think helping people was really good for me
Yeah. No,
because
I think I probably would be better off going to help people.
yeah, it sort of opened me up to a bunch of things. It cemented my sort of anti-racist thoughts as well, which was really nice.
Yeah.
When I was sort of like, oh, these are just like us. These are just people. And this was like a broad array of cultures that were coming in. And I was like, oh, I know these fucking people. And so the idea of race just sort of withered
Yeah.
while I was in there because I was like intellectually anti-racist at the time, but I still basically only knew white people.
Yeah.
And so to actually spend time in like a different culture, and the only other white person was the girl I brought with me. And like there were so few white people that even came to this village that I remember we were walking down the street talking one day, and a bus went by, and everyone on the bus came over to the side that we were on to look at us.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like when a plane flies over the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so it was like very like a culture shock, but also just no, these are just folks, you know, they just want to have a
Yeah.
nice time, and sometimes they're annoyed. And so that was like a really grounding thing, but also just to see, you know, easily some of the happiest people I've ever met in my life and have faced things that are worse than most of the people I've ever known.
Yeah.
And it's still like wonderful. And I remember talking to my uncle about that because he spent a lot of time out there, and he was like, honestly, the people you meet out there, and it's like they know something we don't, because why are they smiling with real joy?
Yeah.
What is that? There's something that they know that we don't know. And I don't want to put that down to like Asian mysticism or any of that, but it's there. I think there is something to the fact that Western culture is new comparatively.
Mhm.
We're a few hundred years old,
Yeah.
you know, and we're kids.
I think it is that thing of just being slightly more mm, uh having a sorry, I'm tripping over my words a bit here. Having a slightly more natural existence, perhaps.
I mean,
As I'm saying that we've sort of been driven inside in our society. Our work is indoors. Our
yeah,
sort
but
of interactions
so's a
now.
lot of theirs. Like there, we sort of exported that whole thing. Like, you know, I'm not talking about farmers necessarily. Even when I was in the cities, like when I was in Chiang Mai, when I was in Bangkok, there
Okay.
was just a like a joy that I was able to find. Like there was a I remember when I was in Chiang
Is it
Mai,
the exposure to vitamin D and the sun?
but that's that same outside thing where there's still, you know, tons of them have office jobs or they work in
No, but
factories
like when they go outside at the end of the day, the sun is there.
I mean maybe,
It's not
yeah, but you
cold.
know,
That's what I mean.
but you could say that about Florida and those people are fucking nuts. So
Fair.
yeah, I really I think, and this is absolutely a theory that I probably need to be disabused of, but there's something about like Asian cultures because they've been maintained for a lot longer, thousands of years, as
They're
opposed to a few
very
hundred.
ancient. Yeah.
And so, in terms of a culture maturing, and in terms of the idea of what it is to be a person, in terms of what it means to have a good life,
Mm,
um, you even see this in the difference between like Italians and North Americans,
sure.
where there's more of a like that's a someone was talking to me recently about the live to work, work to live
Mm,
dynamics, and there's a they're more I see them as culturally being like in their like late 30s,
mhm.
where as a culture they've sort of gone through all the teenage stuff that North America is going through right now that England refuses to grow out of, um, and which is like a childish, selfish, convenience based, um, outward symbols of success as opposed to just inward self knowledge that you gain when you're older. Um,
Sure.
and as a culture, that seems to permeate more, and it would make sense that they would that a culture would sort of move in a similar line to personal development, because it's all about human growth, right? And so I feel like they, as groups, have maybe like moved through a lot of that. I mean, they're still guilty of it in some ways. You look at, everywhere has despots. Japan's in a fucking weird place. But culturally, it seems like they have a better idea of what it means to be human
Sure.
than.
They have inherited these ancient ideologies, I guess, that are maybe
Well,
a
yeah,
bit more figured out than what we have going on.
well, yeah, and they've lived with them, and it's become sort of ingrained in their culture
Yeah.
more than ours have,
Yeah,
because
that's
we keep
interesting.
discarding. Because it's not like we haven't had the thinkers. I mean, America had Walt Whitman, and Ralph Waldo Emerson. It's all in there. Everything you need to know is in those two guys. Except probably some important feminist literature. But it's like, to be human, like in a general sense, it's all in those two guys. You can get it. But North America just went, nah. And you're really in a spot right now.
I'm really like, yeah. I'll admit I'm a little bit hungover, and maybe it's a weird mixture to be having a conversation like this while I'm slightly hungover. But yeah, I'm sort of really struggling to digest this conversation.
It's for anyone listening, she's just doing cat paws right now.
Oh no. I'm trying to fundamentally figure out where this show lands in terms of my now expanded view of the world. and my own kind of meaning of existence.
Wow.
And I'm too hungover for thoughts like that.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't know whether I'm laughing or crying right now.
Cool. Good. That's
Oh,
nice.
wow.
That's in terms of the people not being surprised, but also being like, what? When I tell them about parts of my life, I get that semi-regularly as well, which is nice. That's
Yeah.
nice. You'll go, man,
Yeah.
I just gotta sit for a second. Give me a minute.
Yeah. I don't know how to move forward. I've forgotten how to lift my leg up and take the next step right now.
Okay, like in a good way or in a paralyzing way?
Both?
Okay, yeah, cool. Cool. Fear is tied to excitement. It's
Christ. Yeah. Oh, okay. I had Greek food last night. It was really good.
how'd you get hungover? Did it start at Greece?
It started in Greece. Yeah, I went through to Edinburgh to see a friend last night. We went for some really fucking good food. And we went to a bar for drinks first, and then we went to the Greek place for food, and then we went to another bar for a quick drink, and then we went to another bar that was really obnoxiously loud DJ music for something that was essentially a sports bar, and there was not very many people in there, so it was just like really intense music. And so we didn't stay there very long, and then we went to we tend to end up in Stramash. This particular group of people, we end up in Stramash, just off the Cowgate.
Okay.
And it's a really fun venue, actually. They do a lot of live music, and it's a converted church, a church that's now a nightclub.
That's right. Yes, I know that place.
Yeah, you do know that place. It's
Yeah.
a nice place to go out. It is good fun. So we ended up there. I promised myself a cutoff point of 2 a.m. and I
Hmm.
told my friends this. I said we're not staying out later than 2 a.m. So we left at 2:30.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty good
But
though. That's
I think
pretty
that's
good.
pretty good
That's
going.
pretty good. Yeah. Yeah.
Because it was one of those things where initially going through, I was just going to go have dinner with my friend. I wasn't even going to have a drink.
Yeah.
But then that got discarded very quickly. I started to have a few drinks, and then I was kind of saying, "No, I'll get I'll still get the train home. I'm not." One thing that was absolute was I was not getting the bus home.
Mm.
So I said, "I'm either getting the last train, or you're giving me a bed for the night."
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it was coming up to that time where I had to shit or get off the pot and make that decision. And I just sort of looked at my friend. I was just like, have I got a bed?
Yeah.
And he just said, yes. And I ordered another drink.
Ooh, he.
And then the plan was to just go to sleep, but that didn't happen either.
Yeah, no, I can tell by the smile on your face. That was
I had a fun night.
that's great. How's your cervix?
It's fine.
So good.
It's
You didn't
absolutely
smash it out.
fine.
It wasn't a smash the cervix type.
No, no, it was relatively calm actually,
Mm.
which is new. um, but yeah, it was just a bit of fun. And then I got up this morning and I got home and I managed to do some laundry before I was meeting a friend for lunch. And my
Nice.
friend had had a very big argument with her partner, and so it was a very angry lunch, but in a kind of productive way.
Okay.
You know, it was let's do something with these feelings right now.
Yeah.
And that was fine. And then I got home and put on a second load of laundry. So all the fucking my flatmate's away this weekend, so I've been able to just
Perfect.
hang everything out, you know, and you just need a
Yeah.
bit more space to get through a bit. Like the bed
Yeah.
sheets have been done, that
Yeah.
kind of laundry.
Yeah.
And so I did that, and then I sat down and recorded this show. And
Great.
now I'm going to I really need to go out and buy groceries and food stuff, but I really don't want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if I don't do it, I won't have any food for the week, and I'll potentially lose more weight than I have.
Yeah. Do it then. Definitely do it. Do it. Yeah. Buy food. Get your food
Buy
in.
food, get some
Yeah.
food. Yeah.
Buy good snacks. Buy good high caloric snacks.
Yes.
Low
Yeah.
sugar, high calorie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you doing with the rest of your Sunday?
I'm gonna file my taxes.
I need to
Uh,
figure out how to do that.
yeah, because I was gonna do it. They're doing like a week, but all of our tax people just went on strike, so I might have some time. Um, and yeah, I meant to do it this week, but then I was just wiped from the doubles because I'm the 39 now and I don't have it in me, and I need to do it. So I'm going to do my taxes. I just got back. I took care of my dad's taxes, so that's done. So that's good.
Nice.
That's all fine. That's all settled. But I need to do mine now, and I'm gonna wash my sheets. I have a dryer in my house, which makes it so much easier.
Nice.
I'm gonna get some groceries as well. I'm gonna make a
Yeah.
smoothie.
Ooh, what kind
I'm
of
gonna try
smoothie?
berries, banana, yogurt, and milk. Just
Yeah.
simple, you know.
Yeah.
Tidy up a bit. I got to take some trash out. Just some house stuff. Yesterday was my nothing day. Today will be
Yeah.
accomplish some things around the house day. Answer a
Yeah.
couple emails, whatnot. Because
I was
back to work
supposed
tomorrow.
to Yeah, I was supposed to take care of I had one job I needed to get done yesterday, and that was to go and collect my medication from the pharmacy because I'm going to be working throughout the entirety of their opening hours during the week, and I
Hmm.
forgot to do it, and now I'm really concerned that I can't leave medication there for over a week. But I
Uh,
should be able to still go and collect it, I think. I think
yeah,
I've
we'll call
left
them.
it for that long before. Yeah, I might have to call them.
Yeah, I'd say call them for sure. and just see if there's like a late night
No,
takeout window.
there definitely is not. That doesn't exist. We're in
Shit.
Glasgow.
Can you designate a friend to pick them up? Like I used to pick up
I may
medication for
ask my
people
friend to
sometimes.
do it. I may
Yeah.
ask a friend to do it.
Yeah. Because I think if you give their name as like a person that it's okay, you have to call ahead and let them know. That's what we had to do anyway.
I don't think they know me well enough that she could probably just go in and say my name and address and get it.
Yeah, fair enough.
They just ask you for your postcode.
Yeah, then don't go without your medication. Just loop in a friend and buy her a beer.
I have enough medication for the week. I just don't know if I just don't know if it can stay in the pharmacy until next weekend when I'll be able to get back in.
Ah, fair enough.
What a minor problem.
It's good to know,
right.
though.
We've blasted through this episode. It was very contemplative.
Yeah, enjoy your existential crisis after we get off.
I'm gonna full spiral after this.
That's no build. Spiral up like a tower, like a spire.
It's probably gonna spiral down. I'm not gonna lie.
Shit.
But here we are. I was due one. It's fine.
Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you to all the listeners, all the viewers. As always, don't really know why you guys tune in to this nonsense as much as you do. There are some really core people who honestly listen to every word we say, and it baffles me.
Yeah, and numbers are going up as well.
Are they really? I don't know how to look at those. You need to teach me that. Well, welcome to any new listeners then. And sure, we'll see you next week.
100%. John will be back. He'll be refreshed. He'll be de-comedy festival. Yeah. And that's a nice place to be.
Yeah, he might still be shitting and crying at the same time, but
that's a John thing, you know.
That's a John thing.
Yeah.
I'll say it's a me thing as well.
Okay,
many crying while shitting myself events. Not shitting myself, but crying while shitting. Yeah, that's happened a lot.
That's some classic UTS content right there.
Isn't it just?
Yeah.
I had to balance out the fucking monastery story, to be honest. Yeah. I had to at least mention shitting at the end.
You wanted to hear it. You wanted to hear it.
All right. We also didn't start this episode, but we're gonna just end it now.
All right, cool. Bye, Troggies. Love you.
Bye.
See you next week.
And that's all. Penis into her vagina. And that's all. And that's all. And that's called sexual intercourse. Some people call it having sex. So the man passes the sperm to the woman.